have a problem in our neighbourhood where puddles, they show up randomly, even if it hasn't been raining. Today, the puddles aren't out because it's -24, but as you can see here, there is ice literally just growing out of the sidewalk grass. There's nowhere here for it to get water from, so where does this stuff come from? It's literally just popping out of the ground. Many times people think of Toronto as this sprawling metropolis, just buildings everywhere and not much in the way of nature. That's simply not true. There are trails everywhere. So I'm taking you to one of those places right now. It's called Deer Lick Creek, and along the way I just happened to spot a 2-story high skeleton. I don't know if you can read this, but it says Deer Lick Creek. So the story goes, thousands of years ago, the natives who lived here saw deers licking the mineral deposits off the creek. It's a good job that the natives didn't see the deer doing something else, because this place would have a far worse name than Deer Lick Creek. Like so many other places around Toronto, this water eventually ends up in one of the main rivers, and in our case it would be the Don River. This could be another culprit, but I really don't think it is. So I'm down by the Don River. The Don River sits in the Don Valley, and behind it, as you can see and hear, there is a parkway called the Don Valley Parkway. This river literally runs north-south through Toronto, dividing it east and west. This is a very pretty tunnel. People every day go past this tunnel, and in Toronto it's a bit of a landmark, but nobody ever knows what's inside it. Like, there are different murals and pictures, depictions of city life and nature, and then when you come outside, what you see is what everybody sees from the highway when they go by. So as you probably understand by now, the point I'm trying to get across is that I'm surrounded by various bodies of water. It's not entirely clear how this is happening, but there seems to be evidence that something was previously underneath where I currently live, and maybe we're seeing memories of the past coming up. I think that ultimately what I need to do is go have a look, see if I can find maps, aerial photography that can give us a bit of background, because the neighbours and the local people that live there now, they weren't there when this was built, so there's no oral history or anything passed down that says that there was a stream or something there previously. So I've just done some research. There is a stream that comes off the Don River that approximately bisects the road where we now see trouble. I also found this sort of weird hook, I'll show you on the screen right now, where the road actually used to continue and was part of the path that we were walking on earlier next to the Don River. I never knew that before. We can see clearly around 1956 that the stream goes both sides of the street. In fact, it goes under the street. Obviously, they've not got rid of the stream. They've just literally built on top of it and buried it. That's quite common in a lot of places, but what we also see here is a lot of the original banks of the stream would make up what is now outside the gully that separates the main car park from some of the other buildings. I think what I'm going to do is try to overlay the old map with some of the new maps. But I'm very interested in the end of the road because I had no idea. Yeah, this is preceding the building of both Lawrence Avenue and the Don Valley Parkway. So we've just got the rivers, the woods, and actually one of the woods is very recognizable to me because it's down next to what would later become the swimming pool. So those trees are fairly important because they give me a marker that still exists today, but it allows me to find very easily the location of where the stream used to be. If we skip forward to 1963, the big apartment blocks don't exist yet, but what do exist are some of the smaller buildings, and very worryingly, they've literally just put the car park straight across the top of the stream. So this doesn't bode very well for the future, because if you've got a stream that is badly buried, under some of these buildings. What does that do to the buildings? So I was able to find some aerial photography from 1947, which also clearly shows the area. There's absolutely no engineering on this photo that would suggest what was to come 20 years later, but it's pristine land, and it again shows the same trees that I know still exist today that I can work with in order to locate exactly where this stream was running. So what we're seeing here now, I think, is the best clue that there was a stream here before all the buildings were here. It's got other plans, and it's basically poking up back through the surface again, and it's kind of like, hey, I'm still here. So the next step is basically I'm going to go out, follow the gully that runs along the side of the car park, go down the bridge, and see if I can find the end of that stream. When we look at the aerial photography from the 1950s and 60s, we can see that the road sort of used to go along, and then it would kind of bend down and then along the side of the river. I thought, okay, I'll just come to the end of the street and see if I can find any remnants of that pathway. And basically what they've done is they've blocked it off and turned it into a garbage area. So this is the other end of that gully, and we're just going to work our way along and see where it goes. Okay, so I didn't have my camera out, but there's a really big coyote down there, so I'm gonna have to be a bit careful here. So what we've got is the end of the stream. These trees here, if we line them up on the map, they are the same ones that were in existence before, but these ones over here appear to be a bit newer. We have to go down this bridge, but they seem to have built it a bit weird. Who designed this? Seriously, I've got to try and squeeze through this. That was not very big. Now we're going to follow this. It looks like it's heading exactly where we thought it would, back towards the Don Valley. Just going to make a bit of noise to make sure the coyote knows that I'm coming and he has a chance to get out of here. So next to the tennis courts here is a continuation of the stream. It is bitterly cold down here. Okay, coyote, get out of here. And so now the stream ends right by the Don Valley Parkway again. So this must be the stream that was like a tributary for the watershed of this area back into the river. So I think this mystery is finally solved. We know why the water's coming out of the ground everywhere. They've literally built on top of the watershed, and so the water has nowhere to go. So it's literally coming out of the grass. That's not a coyote. It's literally coming out of the grass, it's coming out of the sidewalks, it's everywhere. So, mystery solved.